Welcome to the Every Mom is an Athlete podcast, where we believe that motherhood is inherently athletic. I see you lifting car seats, chasing toddlers, and carrying groceries one-handed while holding a baby and a coffee. Your daily life is a workout. I'm Dr. Karlie, pregnancy and postpartum expert, sports chiropractor, strength coach, entrepreneur, and mom of three. Here you'll find solo episodes and real conversations with other moms and leading experts, so you can live your strongest, healthiest, most aligned life in motherhood. No matter how long it's been since you've had your baby, whether you're reconnecting with your body, rebuilding your strength, or just figuring out what feels good again, you're in the right place. Hello, strong moms. Welcome back to Every Mom is an Athlete. If you are listening to this on the day it's released, then it's Christmas Eve. So I wish you a very Merry Christmas. And I hope that you are enjoying some cozy time with your family, eating some treats, watching some Christmas movies, just snuggling up with some blankets and cocoa, so lovely. And I'm sure that you're also wrapping presents and feeling that last minute mom stress. It's like so crazy. So what I wanted to do is go over today 5 things that strong moms do to reset after the holidays. So one of my favorite things to do, honestly, when I'm working with patients, whether it's in my office or it's like coaching online, is help women find ways to live as the best and healthiest version of themselves, right? And that can be done in just small changes. It doesn't have to be this whole overhaul. So I want to talk about that in regards to the holidays and ways that we can just sort of like get back into the swing of things without making it feel like, oh my gosh, I need like this 2-hour routine in the morning, whatever. Like, we're moms. We don't have time for that. So all that being said, we're going to go over some things. Hopefully these feel very doable and actionable, and you can implement some of these small changes after the holidays are over and we're like getting back in the swing of things. So the number one thing that I recommend my patients in my office and online when I'm working with people do, and what I do myself, is reset my nervous system. And that can mean a lot of things to a lot of different people. But what I like to remind people is our bodies don't necessarily know how to decipher between good stress and bad stress, right? So especially when you've had a really stressful week, a really stressful time, jumping right back into doing that HIIT workout, that high intensity interval training workout that you might want to do, might not be the best thing for you. That is another level of stress that you're adding to your body. So what I always recommend people do is start like regulating things before you get back into those kind of workouts. Now, why do people want to jump right back into that kind of workout? Well, hopefully it's because you love it and it's because it makes you feel good. But I also find that people are doing it as like punishment, right? Because you've been eating treats and you've maybe had some drinks and you're like not feeling like your best self physically. That's like a whole episode for another time of like the reason we work out should be because we appreciate our bodies and enjoy them and not to punish them. But I digress. We'll talk about that on some other episode. So hopefully it's because you're getting back into it because you love it. But before you do that, I would just really encourage you to focus on the things that are going to help you regulate, the things that are going to help you de-stress, because truly that workout is going to stress you out more. Maybe not like mentally, but physically it is a stressor, right? And I'm the first one to say that I love some weightlifting. I love some HIIT workouts. I love to hit it hard and just like crush myself in the gym. But as I've gotten older, I've learned that if I can do these other things first, then those workouts are going to feel so much better. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about sleep. I'm talking about water and like electrolytes and supporting your body as it's trying to like recover and get back to equilibrium. I'm talking about walking and like breathing exercises and mobility and like all the stuff that we kind of, especially those of us that like, I feel like were raised in the 90s are like kind of poo-poo, right? But like that stuff really has a lasting impact on your health. And truly, those activities are going to help you regulate your system so that you can be a better mother, a better partner, so that you can not snap at your kids or like this or that, right? So that's what I would encourage you to do is pick one of those things that you can really start to focus on and regulate. So whether that's like, okay, I'm really going to dial in my sleep. I'm going to make sure, I'm dimming the lights and I'm starting to chill out by 9:30 or whatever time, you can make that happen. Or whether that's like giving yourself a goal of water, like if you've really fallen off over the holidays of drinking your water and like making sure that you're getting enough. If you've been drinking alcohol and you're like, I gotta like get out of this cycle, maybe it's saying, okay, I'm going to do dry January or whatever it is, like pick one thing. It does not have to be all those things. In fact, it should not be all of those things because that's just setting yourself up to fail, right? Pick one and then really start working on that. And then that good habit will start to beget other good habits. And that brings me into number 2. Wow, I just like really segued myself really well right there. The number 2 thing I recommend moms do is pick one habit. Because like I said, if you pick more than one, it's going to get really overwhelming. You're not going to stick with it. So just pick one, okay? And then once you've got that dialed in and you feel like you're really like not having to think so much about that one, then you can start adding another, right? And that way you can start to build on that like foundational habit. And if you can, as you're going through this thinking like, okay, what should I pick? Maybe try to pick the domino, right? Pick the one thing that's going to make other things easier. So for me, honestly, because I don't really have too much of a hard time with sleep, I don't have too much of a hard time with like unwinding at night. Mine would be during the holidays if I was drinking alcohol. That would be like the kicker, right? Because then I'm not getting as good of sleep, then I'm drinking empty calories, then I'm probably snacking on things, like all these pieces. So if I can cut that out, it's going to make a big difference in all my other habits. It's going to make me feel better mentally, physically, like all those things, right? So pick the one that you think is going to like maybe domino into others without actually changing the others. Does that make sense? Like, you know that there's a foundational one that if you do, it's going to help with other things. So don't shy away from it. Don't back down from it. Pick that thing. Come on, you can do it. I almost said promise me, but you cannot promise me because I cannot hear you. But if that helps, you can promise me right now if that helps you. The third thing that we as strong moms can do to reset after the holidays is nourish our bodies rather than restrict. So I know I'm talking about picking healthy habits and like cutting a thing out. Yes, I am talking about cutting out alcohol or sugar. You can restrict those things, okay? But what I would recommend as far as everything else goes is that you are adding nourishment, okay? So you're making sure you have protein at all your meals and that you're not just like eating the leftovers off of your kid's plate and like eating their mac and cheese and chicken dinos or dino chicken or whatever that thing is. You are making sure that you are hydrating and maybe you have a green juice that you like to drink or you have your electrolyte supplement, but that you're trying to really nourish your body. When you're thinking about having a snack, you're like not thinking about what you can't have, but think about what will nourish you. So fruits and vegetables and like different colors of things, right? Like those are all going to help you nourish your body because they have different nutrients and they come from the earth. And so that's what I'd like you to think about. It's not like restricting what you can't have in general, right? But thinking about nourishing, thinking about having the stuff that is really going to help you recover, to feed your muscles, to feed your brain, all that stuff. The fourth thing that strong moms do going into the new year, following the holidays, is start again with foundational things as far as exercise goes. So if you are a new mom, maybe that means for you starting with pelvic floor work, okay? Maybe you haven't done any of that. Maybe you're not even a new mom, but you're like, oh gosh, I still have pelvic floor issues. I still can't jump and my baby's like 3 or 4 years old. That means maybe going back and starting from the ground up. So seeing a pelvic floor physical therapist, reaching out to someone like me for a consultation call or looking at one of my plans. If you have seen someone in the past, maybe revisiting those exercises that you've already been given and saying like, okay, can I try these again? Can I start doing these again with some consistency? So don't be afraid to go back and do some of those exercises that you've done in the past, especially if you found them helpful, but then you've fallen off. Or maybe that means, if you have a hip thing that's been bothering you and you have been in to see someone before, but you haven't been doing the exercises you've been given, maybe it's getting back to those things to strengthen your hips, to feel more stable so that you can do the other types of exercise that you want to do, whether that's walking or running or being in the gym, whatever it is. So going back to the foundations, if you haven't been working out, maybe that's going back to some very basic, like, okay, what do I know how to do? Let me get in the gym and like do some squats and do some planks and do some push-ups. And then if you feel like you need help, maybe it's working with a personal trainer or having someone to like give you some new workouts. But just getting back to the basics, I think can be really, really helpful, especially because it's just like there's so much noise out there right now. There's so much noise online, in social media, of people telling you what you need to do. And this exercise is best. And this exercise will fix this. And like the truth is, if we're just moving our bodies for 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, like that's the goal, right? Like that should be the bare minimum. And that's not just me. That's like part of the recommendation for Americans in general. And arguably, it should be a little bit more, but like that should be the baseline. So don't get overwhelmed if you feel like it's been a while or you feel like you're like maybe bored with your workout or you're having some pain. Just go back to the basics and build that foundation again. And then from there, you can figure out where you need to go. You can figure out if you need help. You can figure out if you just need more consistency. You can figure out what the next step is, which leads me right into number 5 of what we as strong moms should do as we go into the new year following the holidays. And that is be consistent. Women come into my office all the time and I end up giving them workout, fitness, rehab routines. And I know that they know everything I'm giving them. And they know that I know that they know that they know everything I'm giving to them, right? But the thing is, they're not doing it with any consistency. So let's say you come to my office and you're like, your goal is to work on your diastasis, your ab separation, right? And I say to you, okay, we do an evaluation and I give you 3 exercises. And you're like, oh, Karlie, I did your postpartum plan and I did all these exercises in it. And I'm like, okay, great. Like, how did you feel? How did they work? And they're like, oh, it worked great. And I'm like, okay, so are you still doing them? They're like, oh, well, no. I mean, I haven't been doing them because I finished your program and then I got into working out. And the thing is, if those were working, then we should be doing them with some consistency, right? And yes, we can progress them and we can make them harder. And that's what you should be doing with rehab or with exercise in general. That's how we get stronger, right? We have progressive overload. But the consistency is what is the kicker, okay? Like, I don't care how much you know if you're not doing it. Like, you might know all these exercises I'm giving you, but we need to put them in a small, concise program for you to be doing them that takes 15 minutes and you're going to do it 4 times a week or whatever that looks like. So I would just really encourage you with whatever you're doing, have some consistency. That's going to beat out 2 weeks of I'm working out every day, and then you fall off, right? I would rather you work out 4 times a week for the rest of your life. That is going to build better health and longevity than going all out and crazy and then falling off and not working out for a couple weeks or whatever it is, okay? I just encourage you to think about the long game and to think about things as a consistency piece instead of a time piece. So what that means is I would encourage you to do something every day or 5 days a week or whatever it is for 10 minutes rather than 2 days a week for an hour. Does that make sense? You're going to get way more out of that 10 minutes a day of building that habit and building that routine. And then you can build on that and make that longer as you go if you want. But rather than just real hard 2 days a week for an hour and you kill yourself in the gym or whatever it is. You know what I mean? So consistency is king or queen in this case. That is enough of me yapping, and that is going to wrap up today's episode on our 5 things strong moms do after the holidays. Remember, this isn't about perfection, and it's not about extremes. It's about simple, sustainable habits that can help us feel more energized, more grounded, and more like ourselves. So, like I said earlier, pick one thing, just one, and start there, okay? Whether it's that 10-minute walk or 10 minutes of core or however many ounces of water a day. Pick your one thing and start there because little shifts are going to add up way faster than you think they are. If this episode has encouraged you, please send it to another mom who needs a little post-holiday reset, don't we all? And if you want extra support, rebuilding your strength, and getting back into a routine that actually works for mom life, you can always find my programs or reach out to me. I'm arguably too accessible on social media at Dr. Karlie, and I would love to help you. All right, thanks for listening, mamas. You are doing great. And remember, every mom is an athlete, even in this messy middle of the holidays and the season after. Until next time.
Thanks for listening. Every Mom is an Athlete isn't just a podcast. It's a reminder. Motherhood is athletic, and you're still the athlete you've always been. But it's not about going back. It's about moving forward intentionally and powerfully. If this episode resonated with you, I'd so appreciate it if you'd share it with a friend, leave a quick review, or rate the show. It helps more moms to hear what they need to believe, that every mom is an athlete. See you next time.